Baruch, Boker Tov, everyone. So yesterday we spoke about the blech, which is the piece of metal that goes over an open fire. Today we'll speak about the hot plate. So the hot plate is a electrical item that you plug in, and it's like there's heating elements inside this metal. If you haven't seen one picture, like a thin metal box, so it's fully closed in, screwed in. This metal box inside is a heating element, and there you put your food on top to warm. Now, there's a question, is this considered already ketuma? Is it already considered like the fire is covered? Because on the one hand, you could look at it, yes, I can't see any fire elements. I just see a piece of metal here. It's like a little mini thin box, and it's the fire element is inside. So maybe it is covered. Or on the other hand, you could look at it like, no, this whole thing is one piece, and therefore now I have to cover this piece, maybe. So Rav Yashiv and actually Rishalom Asas are of the opinion that it's like one piece, and therefore you at least need to put a piece of foil at least on top to show like, okay, I covered the fire, and now I could put my items on top of that to warm up. But Rav Avad Yosef and the Orlet Zion or Ben Zion Shaul are of the opinion that no, it's already, even though it's one piece, but the fire, I can't see any fire here, the fire is already covered, and therefore I don't need to put anything on top. So if you want to be a little bit more stringent, to put at least a piece of foil on top of your hot plate, and then your items to warm up. And again, back to the other rules. If the item is already fully cooked, then it's fine. If the item is already after a third cooked, then it's also fine. But this is now, let's say, from before Shabbat. I want to put something on the hot plate. Say people sometimes they put their dafin on the hot plate from before Shabbat, and they keep it on that to the entire Shabbat. So if it's less than a third cooked, but not raw, because raw is also okay, it's in between that stage. So if you want to be a little bit more stringent, put at least a piece of foil on top, and if not, you could even put it directly on to your hot plate. Now, if the hot plate has knobs, so we've just established that the hot plate is a little bit more stringent in a certain way than the blech, because the blech, everyone agrees, once I have that piece of metal covering the fire, so we said you have to cover the knobs in that case. Most opinions say no. We said yesterday, Moshe Feinstein says that to be stringent on the blech. But here, because it's already a stronger question, is this even considered covered or not? So then the question spills over to, do you have to cover the knobs? And the Ben Zion Shaul, Rav David Yosef, the current chief rabbi of Israel, are of the opinion in their Sfarim that you do need to. Rav Yitzchak Yosef, the past chief rabbi, he kind of is a little bit lighter, is nachon lachmir. It's best is to be stringent in this. So he gives you a little bit more of a leniency, but the others are saying, no, you need to, if you have a hot plate that has an element that you could change the heat, which I think most of them don't, but definitely some of them do, so that you would, best is you would need to cover those. Yes, it could be used, but to cover the knobs, to cover the knobs. Now, I am aware of also hot plates that have a glass cover, so you don't see the element there, but it's a glass cover. And from what I understand, if you put any foil on top, it could ruin the whole hot plate. So that you could be lenient and go look over the Yosef or Ben Zion Shaul that you don't need to have any cover on top. You can put the food directly on top of that. Also, sometimes people get they invent things like in Israel often, like you have a radiator, so a radiator that heats up the apartment. So people say, well, let me put my food on top of the radiator. I have not enough room in the kitchen, and maybe that could heat things up, right? So you are allowed to put it on that radiator without any covering or anything like that, because it's not really a heat source. It's not really a cooking source. So everyone knows you're not going to come and hire and anything there because it's on top of a radiator. Or also the Shulchan Aruch actually says a case like, let's say you want to put your food beside the oven or beside the fire, not on the fire, but like off to the side. So people, the oven's hot or the hot plate's hot, and I want to put it just on to the side on the counter, where it'll just get a little bit of warmth from there. So that's allowed without any other restrictions of covering or anything like that. Okay, that's that for today. Minchat tonight at 6:45. Have a good day, everyone.